Okay, welcome to class number 5 in the Sixth Sense course. We learned last time what is required of us to develop for achieving more of the Sixth Sense, and we spoke about asking ourselves maybe more often, are we really there? I mean, spiritually, are we really there? Mentally, to be able to achieve the Sixth Sense. What I mean is that, are we friendly with other people? Do we have unity with other people? Do we feel happy, with what we got in life, and don't feel victim and complain every day? Do we treat other people with respect, with human dignity? Do we stop being angry and shouting at everyone? So when we want to achieve the Sixth Sense and the ability to see more and to connect more and to understand more, get messages, understand the light, connect to the light, that's the work we need to have with our own self. We learned that one of the things that create more blockages from seeing things more than anything else is the pride. And we learned how we all have a certain level of pride. And according to that level of pride, we feel hurt, we get upset, we allow ourselves to do certain things, we feel entitled in a certain way. We learned that overcoming pride is one of probably the hardest things to do in life. And we learned how we could be smarter than the Creator Himself, than the light itself, even though we look up to the light. Instead of realizing that sometime the light answer is no. But we can be smarter than that. So that's also an aspect of pride. So we learned that we need to overcome that. We learned about the Sixth Sense ability in hearing things. And I was wondering if any one of you experienced something interesting that you'd like to share. Please go ahead. Don't feel ashamed. Please speak up. Anything that has to do with the listening ability, of the Sixth Sense, or if you like something else that has to do with what we learned here, that will be fine too. But I'm more interested to know, how did you connect to the idea of hearing things that normally we will not hear? I wonder if that worked for you. I can't hear a thing. Yes.
Well, I don't know if this counts as what you're talking about, but I was at home. My husband and I were at home, and I kept hearing noise that I didn't know what it was. And when I looked, it was my cat, and my cat actually brought in a mouse. And we remembered from and the mouse was live. And we remembered from your class 2 weeks prior to that how you had said that if a mouse comes into your house, that means something is going to be taken away. And a few days later, my friend passed away. But I did actually, when I saw the mouse, I thought of it as something's going to be taken away from me. And
amazing.
Sure enough, my friend passed away a few days later.
Wow, that's amazing. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Anything else? Anything else you experienced? Listening? I'm listening. Yes. I hope that you will tell me some answers and stories, and it won't come back as a question. We will have time for questions, but I'm really interested more in some story, some interesting story. Yes.
Not hearing, but this is some kind of feeling.
Something of feeling? Okay. Please go ahead.
My mother and stayed there. Like this morning, she wanted to make food for me.
I'm sorry, I can't hear. Could you speak up?
She wanted to make food. She wanted to make breakfast. I felt that something is wrong. And I guess maybe she didn't wash her hands today or something. something happened, the food was totally not eatable, it was full of salt, so I felt that something was wrong. And after 1 hour I asked her, did you wash your hands today? She said, no.
Interesting.
This time, my guess was correct, but
But we have to understand, and that's a beautiful story that you shared, that you said, this time I was correct. It's not about this time being correct. This time you trust your sixth sense. And because you trust your sixth sense, you saw that your feeling are right. And maybe you should learn to trust your sixth sense more. You know, one of our main blockages or obstacles in studying the sixth sense is, as I mentioned at the beginning, that we frequently say, nah, can't be true. I'm just imagining it. I mean, this is illogical. I mean, where even this kind of thinking come to me? And we don't trust our sixth sense. And you come to this course to develop it and to make it more valid. So one of the things you need to do is definitely trust it. And trust it way more than you did before. Okay? Because I really think that you can have more stories and more things happening if you let it become part of you. And you give it more validity and you give it more percentage over your logic, your calculation, your agenda, and your mind. You know, and go into it. Now when we know about it, let's go into it. Let's flow with it. Let's accept it. That those possibilities exist. And let's follow it. All right? Okay. Today, I would like also to relate to the other thing we learned last time, and that is to feel other people. Remember to go into another person, miniaturize ourselves, go to another person, go inside and feel. Forget logic, forget the brain, forget the mind, just feel. See what you feel, and then try to find out if that was true. Did anyone have anything interesting happening? Yes, please.
We did.
In that exercise. Could you share a little bit?
Yeah, it was funny when you were still talking, I was looking at you, and like I had this like, pow, this big red tomato picture in my head, and I was asking you, is it an object, or what is it? And then I knew it wasn't from him, like this image, but I felt it exactly like the time I was telling you about the key. When I sat with him, I tried to open up like my head to go inside him and think, what am I feeling from him? And all I see is a table, long table, smooth table. Even underneath, I saw it. And then I'm thinking, he works with his hands a lot. He's like working with his hands at the table. And I thought, what about a hammer? And I'm like, no, I'm putting that in. But I kept seeing a table. Then also I saw a woman looking at him that loved him very much with light eyes, light color hair. I don't know who that was. I didn't ask him. Either his mother or wife or someone really loved him. But I saw a beautiful face. And that's what I saw. That's what I told him.
And it was true. Yes, that's the most important thing. That it made a lot of sense to him too, right? Okay, all right. No, it's okay. It's all right.
He worked like his whole life on a table as a tailor.
As a tailor, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I just, the most important thing for me is that those abilities will become developed. And the more you practice, like anything else that we practice in life, you go to the gym, you start to practice, it's painful. Maybe the whole week after, you're sore. Your whole muscle are sore. You can't even walk. It's so tough. But then, slowly, gradually, you lose weight and you become more in shape and you look better and you have more physical abilities. In the same way, it will be with the sixth sense. If we don't practice, we come here to the class and we hear the theory, that will not develop your sixth sense. You need to practice it at home. And therefore, this past week, I'm sorry, that was the exercise to try to get into people. Now, every week builds us up to the next level. So definitely it would affect today your ability. If you don't practice, your ability today will be weaker. If you practice, your ability today will be stronger. And we're coming today to some of the major stuff. Okay? Not the most powerful sixth sense, but some of the major stuff. That will be today. And but yes, you want to share something?
I see one thing. You know, sometimes you can feel people inside, but it's not really good stuff. Feeling fear, drugs, and like you see things you don't want to see. What do you do? Like they may ask you things about themselves, or they want to talk to you, and you see exactly what's going on.
Well, you need, if you already sense something and it's not that good, now you need to use your Kabbalah skill. And in your Kabbalah skill, you learn how to be proactive, how to share criticism, and how to share, words of wisdom in the right way, filtered. If you learn about proactive criticism, which is with two conditions: that you love that person, and that person is willing to listen to you, and then in 3 stages, first talk about somebody else and tell the person, hoping the person will understand. Then, if you did that and the point was not delivered, was not coming through, then you actually tell it about themselves, like take them aside, tell them quietly, or him or her, what you need to tell them. And if that doesn't help, do it even in front of everybody. As long as the 2 conditions, the prior conditions are there, you can do that. And after that, there's nothing else you can do. So that's how you share. But of course, in purpose to help and change. All right, so because time is short, I'd like to begin today these 2 different kind of sixth sense abilities that has to do with seeing things. And both of them has to do with our health and has to do with our vitality. So the first one is maybe more familiar to you. Maybe some of you interact with that sixth sense ability. Maybe didn't know exactly what it's all about, why is it being done. So today you'll get those answers. But this is about checking the shadow by the light of the moon. Now, many of you are familiar with this ability, sixth sense ability that is being practiced publicly once a year. And most of the time, it's only about saving life. And that is the real purpose of it, is to save life. It's to see what is missing when things are determined for a whole year. So usually it's been done in a specific time of the year, but it can be done anytime, any night. In a minute I will explain what exactly we do. But in the Zohar, in the portion called Vayechi, verse 200 and 201, explaining the words of King Solomon. King Solomon says in Psalms 39, verse 6, "Only in spiritual images a man walks." It means a woman too. It's form of an expression. And then also, we find in Genesis that it says that God created man in His own image. So in both cases, there is a mention of the word image. The word, according to Kabbalah, is tselem. Now, tselem is not a shadow, Tselem is maybe some form of a spiritual image. That's what a tselem is. But it's not a shadow. It's not a shadow. Now, the question is, what are we exactly talking about here? Well, practically, it's been done in most cases just after Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, after in the months of Libra we plant seeds and we change our life course for an entire year. So to make sure that everything is okay and everything is in the right place, we go at night, according to Kabbalists, and we look at the shadow of ourselves that is coming only from the light of the moon, with no other artificial lights. That's what we practically do. The Zohar explains that the life of an individual depend in those two images that King Solomon was talking about, and that in Genesis the Bible says that Adam and Eve were created in the image of God. So either you believe in the physical aspect of it, which is God looks like me and you, meaning you have 2 ears, you have a nose, sometimes you get cold, he might get ear infection, he would need some medication. Either you accept that, or you're saying to yourself, that image is something else. There's another concept here. Well, it's clearly explained by the Zohar that those spiritual images would allow a person to live. They become developed as long as the person grows. And while he is growing, those two images develop and become part of him. They are more known to the world in the name of guardian angels. When people speak about guardian angels, they are talking about something that is following us constantly, yet it is not angels. We will talk about the ultimate sixth sense abilities next time that has to do with connecting to angels. But then we will understand that angels are something totally different than those two images. These two spiritual images are some form of spiritual vessels. That as we have a physical vessel that would allow us to fill it up with water and drink, or cook in it, or have things stored in it and being handled. And because water, when they flow, are not so usable for us. But as long as they are in some form of a vessel, I can use it. I can use it for a shower. I can use it to drink. I can use it to water the field. As long as it is captured in some form of a vessel, I can do something with it. These two spiritual vessels have male and female aspect. The Zohar revealed to us that the female aspect shows up first while the person is growing, and then the male aspect appear. And they are the only vessels that would allow the person's spiritual consciousness to exist. Not only the spiritual consciousness, but also to the light to enter, the vitality to enter, and to allow the person to have the right choices and to see things the way they really are. We learned from the Zohar that there were people, and then maybe there are even today, and one of them is very famous, and it's Bilam, that purposely connected his spiritual images to negative forces. He purposely did things that would so impure his spiritual images, so everything he saw was through those glasses that only showed him everything opposite and everything bad and how to harm everyone, and taught him the ways of the other side. That's what he did. And some people, I'm sure, are still doing it today. But if those two spiritual images leave the individual, in 30 days, the person will die. It will take 30 days and the person will die. The truth is that, or more correct to say, is that they come and go. Because if they totally leave, the person cannot exist. Because there is no spiritual consciousness, there's no light that can come in through that spiritual consciousness, and therefore the person will die. But 30 days before an individual is about to die, those spiritual images start to go in and out. They go in and out, disappear and come back. There is a very interesting story about it, but apparently it means that the power of life cannot remain, and then sickness will come in, or any kind of other judgment, other form of judgment that will bring the end of this person's life. But the truth is that life already left the person, and it's only a matter of time, 30 days to be more correct, for that person to leave the world. Now, the reason that there are 30 days is only for one specific purpose. And that is to allow us to make a difference and to change what is about to happen. And therefore it takes 30 days. There is a famous story in the Zohar, Vayechi, portion Vayechi, in verse 142 all the way to verse 150, about a student of Rabbi Shimon, Rabbi Yitzchak, that come to his friend, another student of Rabbi Shimon, and ask him if he wouldn't mind to take care of his son after his death and to pray for him after he died. So the friend says, what are you talking about? I mean, you are here, you're very alive in front of me. Why are you saying it? And he says, it's because I see that my shadow disappear every night. I don't see it as before. It comes and goes. So I know I have 30 days to arrange whatever I need. So his friend says, no way. You coming with me to Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai right now, and we take care of this. So they go to Rabbi Shimon, and Rabbi Shimon see, as the Zohar describes it, the angel of death dancing with tremendous amount of joy behind Rabbi Yitzchak. So of course Rabbi Shimon, put a decree that the angel of death cannot come in, and he says he'll be with me. And Rabbi Yitzchak stayed alive another 22 years. So Rabbi Shimon inject in some way the power of immortality and totally reverse what was about to happen for 22 years. And when Rabbi Shimon left the world, Rabbi Yitzchak left with him. So we know that they are, they left in the same time. Now, this is the story. Is there anyone here that can see what I am sharing with you now?
What was the question?
If you see what I'm saying, if you see those images.
I'm picturing what you're saying, yes.
Not picturing. If you before saw what I was saying, if it happened. Sometimes people do. They don't know what they see, but they see something, near the person. And, okay, so I see a few people. No, we leave the questions. So this is interesting. According to the Ari, you can clearly see them. What I would like to share with you is how do we get to see them. All right? The first thing is that the only way to see it is only by the light of the moon without any artificial light. So only if you can turn off all those artificial lights, electricity around, and have a clean light of the moon shining. Sometimes you have to go out of the city for that. And then you can put like a white sheet, something on the floor, and then you would see the shadow. One of the most amazing thing that you see at that point is that when you put different people at that same spot, the shadow that comes out have different colors, meaning different shades. Of course, not colors as much as shades. Some of them are darker, some of them are lighter, which makes no sense. I mean, people stand 1 second after that individual in the same spot, and I'm not talking about the shape of the shadow, but I'm talking about the texture of it. You know, sometimes you see white spots, you see dark spots. So it is amazing to see. You can test it yourself. Now, I'm almost sure that no one of us here is about to die in 30 days, and I'm sure that it's not going to happen, so soon. We have a correction to do. We're not there yet. There's nothing to fear. This is not about seeing if we are going to die. That's not the purpose of this ability. The purpose of this ability is something totally different. It's to be able to see a physical problem. You can see health issues. You can see spiritual issues. Not all of the individual himself, but also the person's family. And you can also see business-related situation that maybe are not there yet, but in the future can come. So you can do something about it. That is the real purpose of this sixth sense ability. So the Zohar says that when you see things that has to do with the person's head, they have to do with the children. When you see things that has to do with the person's arms and hands, it has to do with his business, and so on. So, and the way to find those problems is to see where the shadow is lighter. Apparently, the shadow needs to be dark. The darker is better. And same kind of texture all around. And that there are different shades in it that indicate that something is missing. So the light of the moon can come through stronger. The light of the moon should come through in the same way. What we are actually seeing is the flows and the spots that are damaged in those spiritual images. That's what we actually see. That those images, spiritual images, are supposed to protect us and create a shield around us, are in somehow being damaged. Of course, because of things we do in a reactive way, in a selfish way, and not enough being proactive and sharing and helping and caring and keep ourselves pure from negativity, from anger, from any issue, from any kind of negativity, from ego, from pride. And the reason we do it that specific night is only because that night we can overrule everything in the physical malchut level that the moon basically represents. You see, the moon has no light of its own. The moon shines the light that he reflects from the sun. He has no light of its own, like the physical level, that don't have energy of its own except what is coming from the upper world. So we can determine that night by the specific connection we make that there will be, that we overrule everything in the coming year in the physical level. And therefore, we make that connection that specific night. But this connection can be done any time of the year. Right? We need to remember that everything meant just to be able to help us to make the corrections and the appropriate changes that are required. You may look also in that same portion of the Zohar, Vayechi, verse 206 to 208, where it more specifically explains the particular parts of the shadow and the images that appear in the body. So I won't go into those details because I have something even more exciting for today to teach you. Question?
Yeah, what about special moons, like the blue moon or the red moon?
It should be a moon that shines nicely. So I would say probably at the middle of the Kabbalist calendar, the middle of the month, the 15th of the Hebrew month, when the moon is full, will be probably the best time. Or maybe a day before, day after, will probably be better, because then you'll have more of the light of the moon to do that.
You ever have a special baptism with the rainbow around it? Or every 3 years is a blue moon? And it's
Right, but that doesn't have to do anything with what we share. That has to do maybe with the moon. But this is like about this. Yes. Yes.
I just wanted to confirm, when you said 30 days before a person dies, the power of the light cannot come in, and the shadow?
No, the power of the light cannot come in. Those spiritual images start to go out and in and out. And that's why the power of the life cannot stay there. That's why life cannot stay. Life can only stay in that vessel that those spiritual images create. And that's why life goes in and out.
And that's the angels, the spiritual?
No, there's no angels involved. I mentioned clearly that it's not about angels. Yes.
You know, when we had reincarnation class, and you said that 30 days before you die, your soul, actually certain part of the soul already...
Now I got into more details about the same idea that we learned in the course of reincarnation. Now you understand it a little better.
So this is the same thing?
That's the same thing.
That's what I was...
All right, so now we got to maybe even more exciting sixth sense ability, because this is maybe just once a year that you can use this ability in the full extent of it, meaning to be able to apply a change and correction. Even though it can be done every night, but more so at that specific time of the year, which is called Hoshana Rabbah, that night, which is called the night of the great salvation. And therefore the name came about because it's the night we can make a change for the entire year and change things that are already kind of like being determined in a physical sense. The other sixth sense ability is about the aura. I would like to share with you today, how do you get to see the aura? Okay, that's what we're going to learn today. Well, both the Zohar and the Ari, both speaks a lot about the surrounding, encircling lights that are around an individual. So this is an addition to what we already learned. In addition, apparently, there is some form of a reflection and that appear around people. And that's what the world called aura. And I think that's the most common name for it, which is aura. And the question is, what do we really see in the person's aura? What is there? Sometimes we believe that people that can see aura are like so spiritually elevated. If that is so, you're all going to be very spiritually elevated in about 25 minutes. So apparently it doesn't indicate how spiritual you are. It only indicates to what extent did you develop your sixth sense ability. Everyone can see the aura. It's not such a hard, impossible thing to do. You don't have to be Houdini, Kabbalah Houdini or something in that nature. You can be who you are and you can see the aura. And I would like to share with you how, because it's only about the technique that would allow you to do so. You might see part of it today, But I am sharing with you again, the more you practice, you will be able to see it in a clear way. But therefore, I wanted you to practice other things earlier. In the 5 weeks we passed, I wanted you to practice your sixth sense ability to come to a point where you'll be able to achieve more. So, of course, it might be easy for some. Well, what is the aura? The aura is some kind of a reflection on the outside of the inner spiritual energy the individual have within. So, if it comes from within, it indicates about things within. But let's begin with just our vitality. It's easier to see our vital energy. That energy that you sometimes feel so strong having it that you can run and do things, and you have tremendous amount of enthusiasm and a force from within, from within to overcome obstacles, to make the changes, to physically work hard. And sometimes you feel totally drained, and that's where that vitality will be probably less and smaller. How do we see it? It appears in a color white. And it appears very close to our skin, all around our body. To be able to do so, I'd like you to pick up a white piece of paper, clean, put it in front of you, on the table, and lay your right hand on it. Now, what I'd like you to do is to focus, like sit in a relaxed way and just focus on the center of the back of your palm. Okay, just focus there. And try not to look to the sides. And just to look and focus at that center point in the back of your hand. Anybody see something? Yes, what do you see? Yes, I'm talking to you. I thought you raised your hand. Oh, yeah. You see white thing around. Good. If you notice, while you're focusing in that center, your eyes naturally goes to the side. But you try to always keep them in that center. You would see like a white line around your fingers. Keep your fingers maybe open, I'm sorry. Keep your fingers open and try to do it again until you see that white line, kind of like white, around your fingers. How many of you can see it? Okay, that's nice. That's almost half. Okay, good, good. Could we dim the lights, please? Okay. Try to do it now. Might be easier. Again, to focus in the back of your palm. And while you're doing it, of course, you will see your fingers, but try to keep focusing on the back of your palm. Is it easier now to see it? Yes.
Almost the hand lands with the paper, goes into the paper.
Do you see the white color around the hand? Around the fingers?
My whole hand kind of
Like went in? Okay. Are you seeing things that are beyond? But let's try to stick to the simple stuff.
Is it like you see the white paper and then you see the shadow?
No shadows. It's not about shadows. It's not seeing a shadow. Yes.
Yeah, I see different colors, different fingers.
Do you see colors?
Not color, the white is lighter or darker or different fingers.
No, we're not trying to see any shadows here. We're not trying to see, we're trying to see white light around the fingers. Yes. I'm sorry? Good. How many of you see it? Try not to move. Try to stay still and not to move. And keep yourself back. You know, don't get too close. If you're going very close, you think you're going to see better? It's not going to happen. It's going to be exactly the opposite. You're going to lose it. You have to stay far away as you are and do it. Yeah, it's like an outline around the fingers, yes. It's like a white outline. Anybody see something different than the white light, the white line, outline? Yes, what do you see?
It's a color.
You see a color. What color do you see?
It's almost like a reddish color.
Okay, look, the color is a little more outside. Look before the color, closer to the fingers. Do you see white outline? Yes, good, that's it. That's it. Yes, there is a color. A little more out, there is a color, yes. The one of you might be able even to see a color. Yes, anybody else? Yeah?
Light blue.
Light blue, yes, absolutely. Light blue? Very nice. Very nice. You already see the aura. You already see the aura. Now, it's very difficult to do it with the white paper. I will show you other ways to do it. But anybody else see the color? Raise your hand if anybody else see colors. You see? Good.
Like a silver, almost. It was like a grayish silver.
Okay, nice. Yes. Over there, somebody? No? Yes?
Not on my hand, but I see it.
Can you speak up?
Not on my hand, but I see it from you. Or
From me. Okay, good, good. So you see it in me. Okay.
there's a lot of shadows, so it's hard to.
Okay. Now, listen. If you didn't see it, it's okay. You're going to need to practice. Okay? You're going to practice and you will see it. And maybe change the light, you know, make it more dim, make it more strong. You know, you try to play with the lights, okay, until you'll be able to see it. Yes. Can we put the lights on again? Thank you.
To be able to kind of sense the light, do you stay focusing on the other side of your palm, or is it okay to look around to see?
No, we don't look around because then you're going to miss it. It's like interesting how in Kabbalah we learn that the moment you focus on something, it's when you only see that and you cannot see everything that is around. Like in a forest, you focus on one tree and you miss the entire forest. So here too, you don't want to focus on everything around. You want to focus on that point right there, you know, on the back of your palm. And you want to focus there and not let your eyes go to the sides, and you will see that outline, that white outline. You might even see more. You might even see color. Okay? Okay, this is the beginning. I just started. This is warm-up. This is just a warm-up. This is not it. Okay, but is this clear? Yes? Okay. Maybe it requires more practice. Maybe you will see now more in other way. Okay? Let me speak about the aura itself. The aura itself, that I knew that some of you will be able to see it even on the paper and from your hand. I knew it will happen, and that's great. I'm very happy. But the aura itself is more strongly appear around our head. The reason it appears strongly around our head more than any other part of our body is because that's where the energy that we have is the strongest. From the mind, the physical brain, the mind, and the consciousness that are all located in the head, that is the upper levels of our spirituality, because in our head is where we have more of our spirituality than we have in our feet. When we go down to our feet, there's less and less light. There's less flow of blood, but there's also less flow of light. And the light flows strongly in our head. That's where it's directed, same as the energy that goes to the entire body from the brain in a similar way. And therefore it's easier to see it on the head. And therefore I left it later on for the head. We will be able to see soon, in a minute, the aura. We'll start because it's about colors. Now it's not only about the white, it's what is beyond that white. The best way to see it is to have a candle in a totally dark room. If you light a candle in a totally dark room, you will experience something amazing. Do we have one candle, long candle? I need one long candle. I was supposed to have one here. Or maybe it's over there. These are short, fat candles. I need one thin, long candle to be able to show it to you. And for that, I need you to all come with me to a dark room. Okay? We're going to go to a dark room. We'll try to see it there. Okay, can we close the lights? Yes, now. Okay, let's give it a chance to grow. Now, look at the candle. Look at the flame. Don't talk, just look at the flame. Okay, tell me what you see. There's a circle around the candle? Okay, what colors? Tell me the colors.
I see red.
One by one, what is the closest
Red.
to... You see, everybody see the yellowish white?
Yes.
That's close to the flame, right? Okay, what happens after? What color do you see after?
Red. I see red then.
You see red closer? There is reddish color like here. And then here, do you see the green? Everybody? Okay, focus again. Focus again. You will see that. Maybe I'll keep it higher. Okay. Do you see it now? You see the green? Everybody? The green is like more out. You see the aura now. You see the aura. This is the aura of the candle. Because the candle is so... You're recording this? Okay, because the candle is so spiritual, and it is one of the most spiritual things that exist on our planet, that you can light from a candle 1 million more candles, yet there's more light and not less. The candle can share and get more and more, which is a spiritual quality. And therefore we like to put candles in birthdays and in other warm, loving environment, because it created. So you see in the flame how there is all those aura around. You can even see maybe 4 of them here. You see the white, which is close to the flame, like we had on our hand, and then around it you start to see colors, different kind of colors. Okay? So this is the aura. Some of you might even be able to see it with light. Okay? Now, the ultimate seeing of aura is on a person, on an individual. All right. So to see it on the individual, we need usually a dark background. It is true that the aura only indicate about some kind of a temporary spiritual state of the individual. And therefore it can change, it can vary, it can change colors. Not always an individual, you'll see the color of that individual always in the same color. It could vary because when we get upset, the aura can change. It can get red. When we sick, the aura can be darker. The color will become darker. Okay? So it's not showing us the spiritual level of the soul of that individual. Rather, it shows a temporary spiritual state. Okay? That makes sense? All right. So what we're going to do, can we bring the screen, the white screen? Okay. It's on the wheels, right? Okay. So what we're going to do now, we're going to try to see the aura of an individual, okay? Which is really the ultimate. But before we do that, you should know about different colors. There are many different colors. And it is so amazing that the colors, here behind me, maybe you want to move over there? So there are many colors, and it's so amazing to see how colors are so universal. It's like unbelievable how colors are universal, and for me it made a lot of sense because the color kind of like grow in the same way that you get your karate belt. It's the same kind of growth of colors. When probably in spirituality, the lowest one is the black. That's the lowest one. When in karate, it's the highest. But in spirituality, the black color, of aura shows very dark person. And if it's black or if it's red, you want to move to the other side of the street. If you see that, okay? Because it's either a very angry person, potential murderer. Most people, aura is yellow. When it gets to the color green, orange also, but when it gets to the color yellow, that's most people, common people. When it gets to green, that shows about spirituality, and we know why green shows spirituality. We learn in Kabbalah that green is it's the color of the central column of balance, of being proactive, of doing restriction. Blue is greater. Then come indigo. Then come purple. And the highest of all is white. And the highest of that is kind of like gold. So these are the colors of aura. And what we're going to try to do, this is a little short. We don't have the tall one on wheels. We have one board on wheels, right? Yeah, it's a little higher because it's too low. I have to stand like this to be able to sit down. But if I sit down, not everybody can see me. So what I'd like you to do, when you look at someone's aura, and you're going to try to do it with me first, is going to try to look and focus on my forehead. Like we did on the back of the palm, that we focus there, and we didn't look to the sides. Same is here, you're going to focus on my forehead. And that's only what you're trying to see, just my forehead. And while you're doing it, you try also maybe to see the background in the same time. Okay? And try to see maybe first the white outline that would definitely appear. And then try to see color, if you can. All right? Is there a white background all around my head? No? Okay. Is it okay now? Okay. Okay. So now be quiet again and just focus. And I'm going to try to let it out more so you'll see it.
No, don't do that.
Thank you. Anybody could see already? Okay, you see the white outline? Okay, you see color? Okay, good.
No, there's a luminous blue.
Yeah, like aqua.
Very luminous.
Okay, all right. Let me show you. Could we dim the lights? It might be easier for some to see it. Yes, please. Okay, you can put it down. They brought another one, so you won't have to hold it. Yeah, yeah. This can go out. Okay, the white background is always the best to be able to see. So, sometimes you're someplace and you would like to. Thank you. So you would like to watch people when it's a white wall behind them. Okay. Now, if it was hard for you to see, how many of you saw color? Okay, good. If you didn't see color, try to squint and look while you squint. See if that makes a difference. Everybody can try to do it. It might be even easier to see that way. Not yet. Is that easier? Okay, now let's dim the light a bit. Try now. Can you see it now? Okay, all right. This is it. Questions?
What is purple?
Purple is some of the highest level. Very, very spiritual. Very spiritual. Very spiritual. A person with a purple aura, very spiritual person.
That would be you.
That's my color. By the way, that's my color. When you saw other colors, it takes time to learn. It takes time to learn.
What about that photographic process? What's it called, where you can see the aura?
When they take your picture and...
Yes, Kirlian photography. Yes, some do Kirlian photography, but then many things appear. Many things will appear. But it's always better to do it ourselves, always better to train ourselves to see. But remember, the reason we want to see the aura is not to judge where the person is. You can see in the aura if it's dark, if it's light. So you know if the person is in a good mood, in a bad mood. If there is sickness, then that color will be darker, or there will be less energy there, and the color will be less. It will be, the other colors that you saw that would indicate about different health issues, and some of the reason you saw other colors was because I have, I sprained my ankle and I hurt my rib, lately. So all of it will appear, by the way, on the head, all these things. And that's why you saw other colors. Yes?
What's the color of fear?
The color of fear, I would say red. Yes.
So in daily life, like if you just want to see someone's aura, where would you focus in just talking to someone?
Always focus on the head. Always the head, it's easier on the head. Always if you can grab them, take them to a white place, white wall. Will be easier. See, if I would be standing by this wall, you would see a different color because this wall is green, so you will see a different color. and you might not know. Yes.
Do children have different colors?
Children, sure, they have aura also. Yes.
Can you tell if someone's lying by their color?
You can see if someone is lying by the color. It gets darker. While you're talking to them, it gets darker.
As in, instead of being obvious,
Yes.
it's brighter?
Yes, get brighter. Yes.
I noticed that some people actually, you know, how there's like that, almost that buffer, that layer of white, and then it goes into a color. I noticed that the distance between where the color starts, the thickness of the level.
Definitely you're right about the idea that, you know, the white outline could be very thick, so it shows tremendous amount of vitality, could be very thin, shows about a low level of vitality. Depends how far the aura goes, so you know how powerful the person is, how sharing the person is, how affecting the person is. Okay? All right, that's it for today. Thank you.